Girl, like what happened? Hold on, let me put this
Oh,
off.
diva.
Oh my gosh, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, girl.
Happy Happy Diva Day.
Oh my
How are you?
God. We have been overdue for a diva chat in so long.
It's been a minute.
How you been, Queen?
Just, trying to get out the Bronx. Like, it's just been crazy. Just like, bitch, I'm trying to get out of Fordham. Like, you know how it is. What about you?
I hate you so bad. I hate you. I'm just in my house being a good Christian woman on this side of the tracks, enjoying the moon.
Good.
You have
Cool.
headphones in?
Yeah.
Okay, smart.
Hold on. Let me put this down a little bit. But like, what's been going on with you? Like, elaborate.
Oh, well, summer is over. She's done. She had to get the fuck ASAP out of here. I'm done. I'm over her. I'm sick of her. I'm like, sorry to miss you. But I have been resting. As you know, we're in my summer return. So I'm just like doing my resting bag. I'm preparing for a new job that's coming up, which is really exciting.
Mm.
And I have some insights that the Lord has given me, aka the moon, aka the ocean, on some future career developments I'm working on. So I'm just like feeling very good and optimistic. How about you?
Um, I'm just been trying to just be more consistent with my creative endeavors. Like, work is work. But I don't know. Like I'm really grateful that I have a job, especially in this economy.
Bro.
But sometimes at work I just be like, why am I here? But
Yes.
I'm glad that I have an opportunity to like make money and like use that money to put towards things that I actually like doing. So that's been really nice. Just getting really focused on making and like consistently making content, but then like also getting to the root of like the why people make content. Like I think just this commodification of like social media content and influence and all this thing, like there's so much pressure that you kind of lose like the art and the flow and the excitement and like the childlike essence of creating and like wanting to get your story out there, wanting to be seen and getting your voice out there. And like really just being like, girl, the shit is gonna come, the money's gonna come, the opportunities are gonna come. I just have to focus on being present and to give my most and give my best. So that's just been what I'm doing. And I'm like, bitch, let's have a diva drive by because I haven't had it in a minute. I just want to check up and then like just look at what's going on astrologically and in pop culture.
And you know what's so funny? As we are like entering in the Pluto and Aquarius, I've been hearing a lot of people who are content creators saying like, I don't want to be a walking billboard anymore. I want to have more freedom and creativity in the like content that I put out there. But the more I align with these brands, the more I just feel like I'm just like an agent in capitalism, and it's not fun. Like it's cute to be able to support yourselves through this medium, but like at what cost? Because
Yeah.
you have to remember like why you started it in the first place.
Yeah, and I mean, like when you work with certain brands, you kind of lose a certain flexibility that you didn't have before because now you're
Yeah.
like, oh, is this brand safe? Is, you talking about, social issues, what's going on in the Middle East, is that not brand safe? And everything is like, oh, very brand conscious. Oh my God, I need to look for image. And it's like that shit is so draining when really it's like you want to curate a space for your community and like, yeah, I want to support myself, but it's just living under capitalism, all these things, having to deal with it and wanting to get out of like a certain socioeconomic situation, but it's like having your morals and your integrity tested.
Yes.
And I think that there's just like a global like burnout that's been happening. Like a lot of people have been like, yo, I'm tired. Yo,
Baby.
like I need a second, like
I think a lot of that has to do with not only Saturn and Pisces, but Neptune at that energetic degree. And
yeah.
then we also have Pluto at the energetic degree. The girls are like they're like, baby, I'm at my wits end. I'm about to blow up. I'm losing
Yo.
it. Like, I know. I see it.
So, and I wanted to discuss that a little bit because like there's so many like generational planets that are in retrograde. So
Yeah.
as a generation, we're all having like this reset, and we're all having like a reflective moment of like, what are my value systems? What are the foundations that I've built? What who am I in this moment, and who is the person I'm becoming, and what are layers of my old self that I have to shed and I have to fully close out of and fully like detach from.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because the last full moon in Aquarius, there was a heavy theme of like detachment. Um and I always was kind of good at this like as a young lad, but now I feel like because I've been older and like getting into my anxious attachment style, I've been like really focused on ways in which I've been trying to like latch onto things and control. So now having to like detach and just with this full moon lunar eclipse, it's like the stage that you go into of like a purging, because then it was detaching, and now the full moon is like surrender, like full
Yeah.
surrender, because you can't surrender without detaching. So it comes in a cycle, and it's just going to be interesting to see how things pan out, summer 2025,
Yeah.
especially with the new the new nodal cycle. So it'll be interesting.
Especially, I was hearing a lot about the eclipse. The only word I could use to describe that, not the eclipse, the full moon in Aquarius, is fucking dastardly. The way people were talking about that thing, I thought literally, I thought the mountains were gonna fall off the earth. I thought Atlantis was gonna come out the sky. Like the way people were talking about it, it seemed so scary. But really, it was just like, girl, you have to like embrace the let go and embrace the detachment, or let it be ripped from you from the universe. Like there was only two ways it could really go. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I willingly walked into the surrender. It sucked because I had to really like let go of a storyline of a friendship that I like tried to re-engage with, and as much as I like wanted it to like kind of bring it back to life, it almost felt like I was just dealing with a zombie, like a Frankenstein of our relationship, and I was just like, this isn't it. Like this is
Yeah.
not making me feel good. I don't think this person doesn't make me feel good, and I think I don't make them feel good. And I don't think there's any way for us to really like move forward in our relationship. We just have to like let it be what it was
Yeah.
whenever it was. And honestly and truthfully, I still get sad about it, but I'm so much happier. Like the freedom I have in that release, I wouldn't like trade for the world, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, even with this upcoming Mars in Cancer, um, it's like telling us to find other ways that we can fight for ourselves emotionally, and not like fight our emotions or not fight the feelings that we have when they come up. Like emotions are like kids, like they come, they go, they make a little mess, but you don't let them drive you. You don't let them control you. You're just like, okay, well, this is an indicator, like something's going on up here. Let's check on it. Like you don't leave kids alone in a room. You like, what the fuck this nigga doing? Like it's too quiet. But it's just to like have like a better check-in. Like how can we defend ourselves emotionally without having it become emotionally volatile, like
Mm-hmm.
allowing those emotions to come up. Like you're like, even what you said, you're like, I still feel sadness, but I'm okay with the situation what it is. And that's the whole point. Like you have feelings, you're an emotional person, you're a human. But not letting those emotions impact you or impact your decision making, or like making harsh choices because of your emotional state. And I think that's dope.
Yeah,
So I'm proud of you,
emotions.
girl.
Thank you so much, friend. I leaned on you a lot in that moment, so I'm very appreciative of you, like just being like a stable force in my life at that moment. Because I was really like a couple days before, I was like chilling, and then the day of, I was like, "Girl, I'm about to cut this off. I'm taking this head off." I felt like I was losing my mind, and you were like, "Look at you, look at you. You're spiraling right now." And I was
Look
like,
at you. Look at you. Look at you.
I was like, oh, actually, yeah, this is telling me this is someone who I trust telling me that like this is not a safe space for me because I'm not feeling safe at all right now, and I'm trying to like figure out a way to make it happen versus just like accepting the situation is not for me anymore, and it is what it is at this point.
Yeah,
Oh
and like,
well.
things can always like people can always change or not change, but they can always evolve. Situations can always turn. But like like getting away from that expectation or like that hope and focusing on you right now. Like, okay, maybe like whatever that'll come up when it comes up, or maybe not. But right now I have to tune into myself and to take care of myself. So, that's all we can do sometimes. Like, fuck it, girl, like whatever.
Amen.
But yeah, like one thing I'm kind of like, so like Mars was in my second house. Well, yeah, Gemini
Yeah,
Mars was in my second house, but now it's gonna be in my third house.
yeah.
So I'm just like on my moon. So I'm like,
Well, I mean, it's there right now, right? Like, how do you feel?
um, I mean, I think Mars Moon synastry. It's kind of nice because it's like a nice push and pull of like knowing when to take action and knowing when to like tend to your emotions and knowing when to like pull back. So I think just trying to balance the two of like, bitch, oh my god, like figure out like where my emotions are coming from or where I'm like feeling defensive or coming from.
Yeah,
But as it relates to like the third house, like communication, so that's my only thing of like being wary about, like thinking before I say certain things or knowing how like my words could impact others to make them feel like they could be on guard.
yeah.
So that's like my only thing, or like, not wanting to just be very controversial just because. But that's the only thing. I mean, I'm glad it's not in my fourth house. I was kidding.
It will get there eventually, but third house is also like, it's also social media, it's siblings, it's cars, it's local travel, it's local community. So there could just be a lot of like forward movement in those things because the Mars is in detriment in Cancer, but the moon is at home in Cancer. So it's just kind of like you said, a bit of a push and a pull to figure out like when do I tend to myself and when do I like really like put my claws up and really dig into this bitch and really let him have it. Like you just have to know, really tend to, like we said, like tend to your emotions but not let them run you, which is very hard in Cancer. As a Cancer Mercury, that shit pop out even when I don't really want it to, as you know.
I'd be like, girl, I'd be having to ignore it. Like, anyway, girl, you like, I'd be like, girl, ugh. But then, as a Cancer moon, the moon is like, she's like elusive. She's moody. So I'd be like,
You relate, you like, you know that it's just like in the moment. It's just like, oh, okay. Anyways,
yeah, I'd
moving
be like,
forward.
I'd be like, oops, like, did I just do that? Oops, sorry, girl. But I'd feel like, I don't know. Like, I'm not, I don't know.
Hmm.
I feel like if I'm moody, I can like, not easily, but I can get over it if I'm like more aware of what I'm doing. I'm like, oh bitch, like hold on. Like what's going on with you, bitch? You ain't eat. Like, I can be like, okay, this is why you're not like you're feeling a little spicy. Okay, I can just tend
Yeah.
to that.
You have so much Aquarius, which is so easily like it's easy to detach from its emotions, and you also have like an Earth Sun, and then you have an Earth Rising. Like you have a lot of like stability in your chart to able to like pull out of the emotion. I'm a lot of air and fire, so like I'm really just like kind of in the intensity of it, but it's easy for you if you're able to like really like reflect. Like, okay, I see what's going on. I'm not gonna let this control me.
Yeah.
So it's easier. It's a lot easier for you.
I've been learning that, because now I'm just having to like allow things to just be and allow myself to just be sometimes and to like honestly just be present. Like I feel like for so long I was just so like, oh my god, like I
Yes.
wasn't super present in my relationship. So I never like fully got, well, I did at times, but not all the time because I was so focused on like, oh my god, I need to do this, I need to be this better girlfriend, I need to da 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 da, rather than just enjoying the person that I have right now and like being okay with just being and just accepting what's going on right now and um just knowing that things will change, like not everything is permanent and nothing in like this life is permanent. So it's just been an interesting journey.
This sounds like a lot of North Node going through that 12th house wisdom where you're like just kind of like embracing the solitude, embracing the release, embracing the like, the transformation and the like really the surrender, like really embracing the like I'm really not in control. It really is up to God, but I can work in alignment with God. Like
Hmm.
it's it's about to be done soon too, girl. Like it's about to be over soon. Like things will change. You've kind of like gotten through the worst of it, to be honest.
Child, but this shit gonna be my 11th house, so let's just see. But like 11th is like yo wishes and dreams. It's like your groups and organizations. So I wonder how that will be. Let's see what some shit pops off then.
Yeah, it's your gains from work from your 10th house. So I think it could be a really prosperous year. I mean, it will be tumultuous. Like that house will be shaken up, but it will be shaken up to like almost like get rid of the debris of like what's hanging on to
Hmm.
then like really like give you a solid foundation, even though it is in Pisces. And then it will also be helping you let go of control because then you got that Virgo fifth house that's going to be, there's some things that you're going to have to let go there. But overall, I think it will be an exciting time for you.
Yeah, it will be. I'm excited. I got some things planned for the future. God willing, I'm still around for that. Because you be like, what's that saying? It's like if you want to make God laugh, make a plan or something. So, we will see. I mean, it's gonna work out and it's gonna be great, but girl, a lot has been going on as of lately. Like it was a slow week. I think like I feel like August was kind of slow. Like there were like little moments when shit was going on and I was just like, okay, girl, whatever. But ever since we got out the retrograde,
Yeah.
things have just been like boop, 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 popping up like little popcorn. So I wanted to look at initially I wanted to look at Ice Spice and Cleotrapa's synastry because if y'all don't know what's going on with the situation, baby, where are you living at, baby? I'm in the Bronx and I knew. Like I so basically they fell out and Cleotrapa went on tour with Ice Spice and then after the tour she discussed her woes after being basically neglected and basically in her perception she felt like she was left out. She felt like there was just a lack of attention, lack of acknowledgement, and lack of accountability on Ice Spice's part for not being a good host, not telling her the full picture, and not accommodating her needs to the best of her ability, and really just icing her out, like no shade. And it led to a public feud, a public outcry on TikTok. There's like a 6-part series. If you're not aware, go on Cleotrapa's TikTok. She'll have the whole thing there. I don't know if she deleted it, but it's on there. And yeah, we just wanted to talk about the synergy between them because I'm like,
Yes.
okay, let me share my screen. Zoo, 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 zoo. All right. Can you see that
Okay.
right?
So we have Ice in the middle and Cleo on the outside, right?
Yeah, Cleo's in the red and Ice is in the blue, which is crazy because Cleo has a lot of like Aries energy. So interesting.
Okay.
But ciao. Okay, let's see. One thing that okay, so I know that before we said that Cleo's Saturn was on Ice Spice's or Cleo's Sun was on Ice Spice's Saturn. It's not a close conjunction, but the themes play out on from Cleo's energy, like her Sun and Mars and Taurus can play out onto that Saturn.
Yeah.
Um and it's so
What is a
interesting.
conjunction, however, is that Chiron moon in Scorpio. You see that right on top of each other?
Yeah.
Nasty. That is nasty work. That's nasty.
Child. Like, ooh,
Oh.
we maybe like Ice Spice reminds Cleo in some sorts of like things that she's gone through with childhood, like her mom, even because it's like on that Chiron, the wounded healer, conjunct her own moon. Like,
Yeah. So they both have a moon in Scorpio, and then they have a moon Chiron conjunction. Normally, this could
mhm,
be something that would be very healing, but because I think they are like that moon is in detriment in Scorpio, and then they have that moon squaring their Uranus. They both have it squaring Uranus. Is it
yep,
squaring Uranus? Yeah, it is. And they have
yeah,
a Uranus conjunction. Well, they're the same age, really. They're only a couple of like a couple few months apart, so it would be conjunct. So they have a lot of generational planets that are conjunct, but I think that played into to their detriment, unfortunately.
yeah. I mean, the fact that even with Ice Spice, like she has her Neptune conjunct her south node in
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius, so she could come from like a past life of like being very aloof, very detached, very disillusioned with groups, with friends, with
Yeah.
networks. But then like Cleo has her Neptune right on top of that too, so she plays out in like this karmic pattern of being like disillusioned by friends, by groups, by associations.
Mm-hmm.
So like she reinvigorates that energy that she's supposed to like learn from and get out of. But this is like a catalyst for Ice Spice to rectify something that she really needs to like get through and like clear that baggage out during this lifetime.
I agree. And it's also in those very early stages of Aquarius as well. And if you think about what's going on in Aquarius right now, like Pluto's on top of that too. So it's really transforming that. It's really bringing all that gunk up to the surface for them to have to really uh, to really deal with the karmic energy of.
Yeah.
And then we have Cleo. So Cleo is a Taurus Sun and Mars. That's opposite her moon conjunct Chiron. And then that's also squaring her Uranus as well. So this
Mm-hmm.
is a really tense situation for Cleo, which makes sense. She was like, I feel iced out. I feel neglected. I feel betrayed. I feel like there were, things kept from me. I felt like really like they were kind of like manipulating her and preying on her, really truly preying on her downfall. But then when you look at her on stage, she was killed. Like that was her tour. Like I just mad.
Yeah, she
That
had
was like
really
I
good
said, why she was
energy.
sad. Like she really she held her own.
Yeah, she did. She definitely was a great opener. I'm like, bitch. And then, someone even brought up like old tour videos and like, bitch, you would never know what she was going through behind the scenes.
You
Like,
wouldn't.
that's crazy.
I mean, that square is very much a call to action. It's a call to courage. It puts you in a situation where you have to like show up for yourself. That opposition between Taurus and Scorpio, I think that Scorpio moon and that Taurus sun and Mars really shows to her like commitment to like holding a brave face. Right? She's
Yeah.
not gonna crack. She's not gonna give you that. If it was in a different element, maybe, or a different sign, but that fixed energy, she's like, no, girl, I'm saving face. Like you're not gonna catch me slipping
Yeah,
at
she's like, girl,
all.
I came to perform.
I came
Like,
to do my job and I'm going to do it.
I'm done. Let me see. Hold on. And then Ice Spice's sun is squaring Cleo's Venus and Aries.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you know, like this cardinal energy, like wanting to be the boss, wanting to be the top. It's like her who Clyde Spice identifies as is squaring, Cleo's values. Like Cleo, like Venus and Aries, they want like passion, they want realness, you know, um, they want love, they want transparency, they don't want all the bullshit. Like they're like, girl, skip like the middleman, like give it to me straight. I need it done. Like they're very just like quick to the point, like Mars energy. But then her sun in Capricorn, it wants to be very calculated, even with her sun, her moon in Scorpio. Like it wants to be very meticulous, it wants to operate in a sort of way. The square, the sun and Venus square, that could show even like
Her jacket, her style.
yeah,
You
for
was over there in
sure.
bodysuits and Jordans, girl. Like you was not dressing like me, and now all of a sudden you want to look like me. And I was like, well, there is some evidence to suggest that you are right. Like,
um But it's so interesting too because Ice Spice has a Venus in Sag, and then Cleo's Pluto is kind of there too. So they both kind of have this, like they both have Pluto's in Sag, so they both like know the power dynamics of like wanting to establish their own sense of freedom and like their
mm-hmm.
own philosophy to life. And it's close to Ice Spice's Venus, so like her values kind of align with like their values, I mean their philosophies, but Cleo's values doesn't align with who Ice Spice presents herself to be.
Yes.
So like a clashing in values, a clashing in power dynamics. Like it's like two it girls in one space. Like it's a lot of energy. And unfortunately, because Ice Spice had more of like the support and more of like the financial leverage, it was just like, girl, no, like this is my shit. Like, she had to kind of like little girl her in a sense. And I think it's really a testament to Cleo to be like, hey, there's a reason why you were put in this situation, is that all this stuff that you see, like the glitz and the glam and the the stage and these things, like this all be yours, but it has to be for you. It has to be solely for you. Like all this Aries energy is like very, very self-identified. Like the I am, like
Yeah.
the I am Cleo world tour. Like it's gonna happen for you, but unfortunately, this is just something that you had. Like it was to reinvigorate. Like, oh, now I'm gonna get this shit myself. Like even though you probably was like, okay, I'm not taking no handout, but in the grander scheme of things, it's like, okay, like I know we was friends, quote unquote friends, but I had to do this for myself. I have to do this by myself. Like,
I don't even think they were friends. And I had said this, I mentioned this earlier to you. Like when you look at pictures of them together, they look so uncomfortable. They don't look like girls who kick it. They do not look like girls that kick it
girls
together
that
at
kick
all.
it.
They don't. And then they both have a fire stellium. Like Cleo has that Venus, that Mercury, and that Saturn in Aries, and Ice has that all that Sagittarius
Mm-hmm.
stellium. Like you said, it's a lot of energy. It's really, really hot tempered girls, really like high energy girls who command a lot of attention, but like we can't both be in the same room at the same time. And you can't be stealing my style, bitch. I clocked you. You're not as good as me. And then also I think that like Cleo has a very identifiable style, right? Like
Yeah.
she is self-identified. Her fashion, her music, her energy, the way she communicates, like the bigness of her personality, it's very clear. She has that like that Mars Sun conjunction,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then she has her Mars in Taurus and that Venus in Aries. That's a mutual reception. So that's almost like it functions as a conjunction. So
Yeah.
she has a lot of this, like her value system is very clear and it's very hot, it's very spicy, it's very in your face, it's very
Yeah. Very
bold.
in your face. Like, bitch, I
And
came
like
here.
and Ice does not have that. Like she's, if anything, it's just like she's very muted and very. And my biggest issue with her, she's so fucking lazy. She pisses me off because she is so lazy. I have brought this up to you a while ago. And I was like, there is no artist development. You was like, girl, whatever. Who cares? Now we know. Now we know.
Wait. I'm just
There
kidding.
is no artist development. What are you putting out to the public? Like, getting to the top is one thing, but when you up there, what are you really like representing?
Yeah.
And then she's so lazy as an artist. I hate a lazy artist. I really do. Like, if anything, I admire Cleo for just like being a very standout type of woman, right? She's
Yeah.
very clear about who she is. She will not take no handouts. I don't, this is a lesson for her to like not join a tour the day before it starts, girl. Why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
tours take a long time to come into production.
They
So
do.
if someone is adding you at the last minute, they weren't thinking about you to begin with. And then the way she treated you the whole time, this was a lesson being like, okay, I'm going to honor my commitment because I said I would do this, but I'm not going to make this mistake again.
Yeah. And like I even um ooh, even like this theme of like I gotta stick with it, I gotta stick through, I gotta see it through. I mean, even with her gonna have her Saturn return in Aries, I feel like she's gonna learn the lesson around like responsibility, but like how responsibility reflects in like her own value and like her own identity of like I especially being a Taurus, like she could be like just very stubborn with like, okay, I said I was gonna do this. It's a great way to have consistency, but if it's something that doesn't suit you,
Yeah.
it's it's always gonna blow up in your face. So I think her Saturn and Aries is gonna teach her about finding ways, like having discernment around situations that will give you a sense of stability that are really truly for you, like knowing when to say no to things,
Mm-hmm.
knowing when to pass on opportunities even though they might be big, like the Aries, like they might be like super exciting, like oh my god, yes, bold, like super bold, but being like how is this going to benefit me in the long run, in the long term. um and even with this conjoined to her Mercury, like really consolidating in her mind her own sense of value and like what she brings to the world, like what she contributes to the world, to be like no, let's really let's have negotiations, let's talk about contracts, let's get my manager involved, like very very to the point, very very concrete and concise, but making sure that she is the sole benefactor of the situation of like, okay, bitch, we can't cut no corners. Like, Aries energy can kind of be very quick and kind of
Yeah.
burn
It's
out
very
kind of
impulsive.
fast.
Yeah.
So learning the long game, which I know she has, but just moving forward, like after the situation, be like, well, mama.
Yes. And I think that will be further added to because she's having her inverse nodal return, which when I had mine, that shit whooped my ass, girl. I would never go back to that. That was actually rougher than my Saturn return, but that's also because Chiron was like running through, was entering into my on my angles.
Mm-hmm.
But that North Node in Virgo is like you need to have discernment. Like you're stubborn, you're consistent, you're a bit impulsive, but you're very self-identified. But you need to have discernment in that so that you make better decisions for yourself. Right? You can't get that Taurus is it's very easily glamorized, especially with that South Node in Pisces. Like it's very easily deceived, unfortunately, because you get caught up in the glitz and the glam and like the aesthetics, the showmanship of it all. But that Virgo is like come down and really, really think about it for sure.
Yeah, let me get the details.
Yeah,
Like,
you need the details. You need to analyze things a little bit better. And like again, she's smart. She'll be able to figure it out. That's her destiny to do that. But you know, this is just something that she had to put on center stage first.
yeah, I feel like we'll definitely see more great things from her to have kind of like a very cutthroat attitude. Like, definitely with, I can definitely see like, oh, she was like, oh, we're friends, we're friends, and I'm like, well, maybe y'all were just cordial with one another. Y'all were acquaintances. Y'all were,
Friendly. Y'all ain't
I
friends.
think like having somebody in that caliber of like we're going on tour, we're traveling, we're making this money, we're taking pictures, we're cute, like it can really feel like we're like, oh my god, like it's yeah, like like you're like, bitch, I'm a rock star, like I'm having the rock star lifestyle, I'm like on tour, I'm doing this thing, but then like reality hits you and you're like, oh, this bitch don't like you,
Yeah.
and
And
it just
and
comes at a shock.
she's also having her Lilith return as well, as we see. Lilith is in Libra right now. So
Mm-hmm.
that like, you know, those relationships are coming up where it's like it's a little bit shameful. You're not really, you know, it's not optimizing you in the best way. That's again another heart like damn, I feel a little bit bad for my girl. Like this is very reminiscent of like Nikki and Remy Ma. Very much, especially in the optics of it, where you have this like darker skinned woman and like this lighter skinned woman, and Kendrick and Drake, and it was like very much a battle of like what's real and what is inauthentic. Because at the end of the day, that's what those beefs are really about. I mean, it was you know about like I don't fucking like you personally, but also it's because I think you're fake. I don't think you're a real artist. I think you are you're a poser.
Yeah.
And like, were they wrong? Did they lie?
Oh my god, remember we were talking about the voice notes? I was like, I really do hope that Cleo really take it to the booth. No shade. Like, I don't want it to be no corny shit like Lotto, like, oh bitch, I'm the shit. Like I don't want to hear no poopy nothing. I want to hear straight motherfucking bars in the booth. Like, I want her to be on the block. Stop. I want her to be on the block. Like, like those videos of like in the block and it's just like a microphone in like some like location.
Oh, like a real cipher?
Bro, I want her to be on the block in the fucking Bronx, like in her hood, like, yeah, bitch, and I'm still good. Like, like that would be crazy. Oh my God. Like, talk about her character and the fact that you feel me? She got Saturn on Isis Jupiter. So if she really conjoined to Mercury, bitch, if she really wanted to come through with the bars, I feel like she could definitely dim down Isis, perception, right?
She
Like her
could.
perception of abundance and like this her reputation. Oh my god. Cleo, please get in the booth. Like, please get in the booth. I really need a diss track now. And it's not that I don't dislike Ice, but for the competition of hip hop, I feel like it's a good contribution. Like it's a good sparring match to be like, oh bitch, you had me on your stage and you disrespected me. Let's see who really gonna go toe to toe in the booth where it really fucking matters. Like streams and all, whatever. This whole inflated industry right now, the music industry is in a weird place. Let's see what the fuck is really going on. Like let's ask the people, let's ask the audience who is hip-hop, let's ask the audience who really run this rap shit, like I feel like that would be so dope. Like,
But the young girls really duke it out. Like
bro,
the last rap beef we had was Kendrick and Drake, and to this day, it's keeping the city alive. It's what keeps the
because
country afloat.
when's the last time we had like a really big girl rap beat? That was like Nicki and Cardi, or like maybe I guess technically Meg and Nicki, but like that wasn't
No,
that.
girl, it was Sheether. It was when she dropped Sheether. She was like, pink chicken wing necklace. Are you dumb? And I was like, that shit was 15 minutes long. I was like, oh God.
Really coming at her character to make people really sit there and think like,
Who
well,
is
why
she
do I
really?
like her? You know? Ooh, Cleo should do it. I feel like she should really do it. You know what? Be crazy. Link up with all the ops. Well, that's kind of corny. That's kind of corny. But
Is it?
like,
Is
get
it?
all the dark skinned girls like, oh, bitch, you want to be colorist?
Mhm.
Like, oh my God. I could just see it. I could just see it right now. Like, please, Cleo. God, please align Cleo with this video so that she could see it. Please. I need all the angels in Staten Island to shift this video in her peripheral because I'm like, yo. I mean, she came at Cardi. She came at Cardi. I feel like it's
Who, Cleo?
all Ice.
When?
She said in her latest song, she was like, this bitch spit like an ant, ew. And then she said crash out and they going on rants. And then she talked about Cardi, like she'd be touching her face, like she thinking she pretty, but she changing her face. So she's coming at the girl. She's coming at the big dogs. So I'm like, Cleo, take notes. Come at the big
I
dogs. Come at the big dogs.
am
Like
surprised.
somebody gotta, knock her out a little bit musically. And I feel like as a culture, we gotta get away from this like, oh, streams. We gotta get like, what's the beef? Like, is it motherfucking wagyu or not? Like, what's the beef? Like, I'm like, yo, let's get fucking hip hop. Like, I need to get in the fucking streets with my Jabot jeans and be like, yo, you heard the new shit? Like, run to the store with my baggy jeans, like just like this. Like, yo, she just dropped. Like, I need that. Like, I need that. The streets need that. Like, the streets, the streets need it. Yo.
I agree. But here's the thing. I don't even feel like it would be a real sparring match because Ice is not a real artist. Like, no shade. She's not a real fucking artist. She's not good. So really, it's like there really is no competition. It's not like when you had like Nicki and Remy, where like they were both respectively like, great artists in their own right. Like Ice is not an art. Like you're not telling me she's a good artist.
But the thing
Like,
about it is, like, Nicki responded by making like a like she won technically by making like a very poppy music, like mainstream friendly song instead of like getting like that real
what
gutter
did she make?
shit. She made No Frauds.
Oh, okay.
And but then Nicki, like, I mean, Remy, she was like, bitch, I'm coming at your neck, like I'm coming at your neck crazy. And she was just like, she had to get Wayne and Drake to come help her. And everyone was like, bitch, that's not fair because you're
Yeah.
not going against it by yourself. You're not using your skill, your lyricism, which you're a lyricist. Get back in the booth and do it again. But she had the sector for so long. So it was just like, girl, shut up. But now it's like shaking up a little bit. I'm like, Cleo, do the same motherfucking thing. Oh my God. Yo, like I need her to like DM Nicki and be like, yo, let's get on a track and demolish this bitch. Like, something like that.
You want Cleotrapa to DM Nicki?
Or I'll send Nicki. I'll let me intuitively send Nicki her
But,
way.
girl, because Ice is signed under Nicki. That's her protege.
No,
Like,
she never signed. That's
so
why they're like,
what were they doing this whole time? They was eating each other's ass. What the hell they was doing this whole time?
well, that's the whole reason why they fell out because Nicki met with her and she was like, oh, you're gonna sign to her record label, and Ice was like, yeah, but then last minute she pulled out. And Nicki was like, I'm sick of these girls using me for clout. And then when it comes to business, when I read that name on the paper on the dotted line, then they want to pull back. Then they don't want to invest. So she's like, I'm sick of these girls because they want to come in, they want the Nicki blueprint, but when it's time that I need something in return, then they want to pull back and be like, oh, okay. That's when Ice's text got leaked from Baby Storm and was saying that she was like, oh, well, I gave Nicki the opportunity to work on the Barbie track. And she was like calling Nicki ungrateful, all these things. But then it went silent. And then they did like their relationship has basically been on ice since then.
Wow. Again, like we looked previously, Nicki Minaj is a Capricorn South Node and Ice is a Capricorn Sun. That Sun South Node connection is something dangerous. Like,
Baby.
because you gonna tell me that the shit that Ice is doing right now is not reminiscent of what Nicki was doing with all these other girls before her? Don't lie.
But then, Nikki has to come to a realization that she has done so much for female rap, but she also gave the girls a blueprint on like how to move in business. So when the girls move like her, she be gagged. Like, oh my God. But it's like,
She
girl,
did.
you know the game.
You set
You
it
know the
up. Like
game.
no shade. Like you were the sole artist for so long. Like these girls, like quite literally, these bitches is your sons. Like they exist because of you. You inspired all of them. And I think the fact that now, like, in order for people to come up and be like, oh, you were my inspiration, that tells you something that personally, I think it like signifies to her that like her time is running out. Right? Like because these girls didn't exist before and I put them on, quote unquote, like in a proverbial sense. Now they're coming up and they're competition, right? Now they're really like you're really battling against them and time is against her and she's so obsessed with her legacy and she's so obsessed with her reputation that she's almost done so much work to undo everything that she's done and these girls are coming in to step all over it. Like sorry girl, but like all's fair in love and war, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm like, Nikki, like I love Nikki down, but I'm like, you gotta start moving like a queen. Like you don't let the peasants come to the queen. Like you gotta let them come through noblemen. There's steps to get to the queen. No one really makes it to the queen. So, for these girls to come at you, like to come to you and to like give you your praises, like, oh my God, I love you, love you, love you, love you. But then,
You don't have to engage with them. That's the thing. Like she take the bait. Like any little thing, she's taking the bait. She's another one who's like chronically online, and she's also popping pills. And she's married to that fucking loser that we hate. So unfortunately, like she got a lot working against her.
man.
You can't sit there and be like, I'm the queen, but you in the tavern with the girls, you drinking that, you drinking that ale, girl. You need to go back into your house and eat your cake. Like get out from the streets and go home. Focus on your home.
It's just it's hard. It's a tricky situation. It's really tricky.
Is it that tricky? No shade. Is it really that tricky, girl?
I mean, it is because like I feel like the girls they come into it like Nikki, I love you, Nikki, I love you. But then when the girls get close, they realize, oh, I want more, rather than like because the industry is fickle. People are fickle. They want more. They want what they want for themselves. They want the Nikki stamp of approval, but they also want to be Nikki. They want the legacy that she has. So they're like, oh, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna sing my good graces. And then Nikki, because she wants a sort of approval. She's like, okay, well, you can come close. Like, you can do this for me. But then the girls back out. And she's like, bitch, I'm tired of the girls betraying me.
Okay.
So.
After, like, one or two or three times, and you have to acknowledge the point where you play in your own demise. She's playing her own role in that. And so she really has, and she's the adult. No shade. Like, I know they're all technically adults in this. You are the elder. You have the most experience. You have, like, the most legacy. You're the adult. You're playing into this, right? Like, just don't do it no more.
It's just hard though because then people, it's like she's damned if she don't, she's damned if she do. Because if she don't, the girls are like, oh, you're ungrateful. You don't want to help the girls out. Nobody helped you out, so why wouldn't you want to give the same? But then when she tries, they want to like play in her face. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do. Fuck
don't
y'all.
do anything. Like you can't. It's the same thing with Beyonce. I've heard people literally say that Beyonce, like she's just too perfect. So I'm like, if she wasn't as good, it'd be an issue. She's so good, it's an issue. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. At some point, you have to accept you cannot please everybody. All you can do is focus on you and your legacy and keep it pushing. And whatever is meant to be will happen. But you going over there, you playing with these young girls, then you get mad that they're not, doing or dancing the way you want them to, and then you online talking crazy, popping your pills. You look a mess. Like, stop doing this. Go raise that baby whose name you won't tell us. Go divorce that man who fucking sucks and keep your shit together. Like, get it in line. I can't stand this. I hate seeing her like this. I'm not even the biggest bar, but I hate seeing her like this. It's so unfortunate. Beyonce would never do this to me. She married to that husband I hate, but she would never do this to me.
Like, well,
It's always
We
the
praying for
husband.
Onika. We praying for Onika.
Oh
We
my
praying for
God,
her.
release you. I want her to release herself from the shackles of a husband. I want her to get what us. I was gonna say a stud, but I don't really know how that would work
I
out for
literally, I seen it come. I was like, stop it right there. We all can't be gay. I'm sorry. Like, there's only so much gay niggas already. Like, we can't have the same gay nigga. We have to like share a little bit. But like, I'm praying for the girls. I'm praying for hip hop. We have to keep the tradition of beef up in the streets. So I'm praying. I hope for the beef. I'm here for it. I would love to hear some like gritty bars. Like, I want some real shit. Even if ICE don't respond, I feel like even just the shake to the atmosphere might get people like making a cute bop where it's like, but this bitch, like something that the girl, like a TikTok song that could really go on the charts, because the reason why Ice Spice is so, she's so big is because she went viral on TikTok. So I'm like, Cleo, fall in
Seize the
line,
moment.
fall in line.
Yeah.
I know that you want to do things like your own unique way, but just have a little thing for the public, for the masses. Like Nasty wasn't Tinashe's most like, oh my god, this most deep developed song, but it was cute for the girls, it was cute for the time, and it did what it needed to do for her, and it let the girls look into her catalog and be like, oh wow, she has so much other shit. But like, we gotta like appease the audience a little bit,
Okay, I'm gonna counter that because Nasty was a song that was already put out there. Like Cleo don't have a song that she put out there to like seize the moment yet, but she can create one. But
she can, but I feel like this is just gonna get her more into like the optics, like, oh, this is the industry, all right, I'm a move, like,
I'm
more.
gonna
I
move how
want
I'm
her to
supposed to.
still, yeah, I mean, I want her to still like maintain her own sense of self, obviously, but like to realize like, mama, you you were in this dying industry, you in the belly of the beast, like make it the most you can right now, because why not? Like, you already have done so much, might as well just like get you a nice little bop that's cute, that's memorable, with a nice little visual. The girls gonna eat it up. I'm just saying, the girls gonna eat it up.
The divas don't know how to div no more. These divas need like these divas not no divas. They need to like get back into the booth. They need to get themselves a little like some port in a glass or something to loosen them up and just like really just go off. The divas need to go back to diving. Okay, that's what we need to
She's
do.
diving. She's diving. I mean, she got that Saturn conjoined to her Mercury. Like,
She
it's
can
gonna
do
take a little
it.
time.
She can do it, but I want her to do it. Like being able to do it and actually getting it done is two different things. She got it in her.
She
Get
got
the
it. She gonna
ports.
do it. She gonna.
Get the
Sometimes we need
ports.
that catalyst, like that Scorpio moon. She like bad,
Yes.
bad, bad. I'm gonna show, like, sometimes you just need that little push, and I feel like, I hope that they both go into their villain era of like really talking shit about each other, like to really, okay, let's prove who's bringing their pen. Like, when Nikki always be like I need Cleo to be like, like she would her. I need her to be like, like I need her next motherfucking single needs to be her next single needs to be like pen and paper, or like pen, I don't know, like pen pal or something about putting your pen to paper. She'd be like, oh yeah, this real hip hop, like, like get into the real New York streets, like, ugh.
Yeah.
But it'll come through.
We need to get back to green MetroCard behavior.
I'm speaking it into reality.
Sometimes we need to be on our green MetroCard behavior. We need to get back into that psychology. Like when you was young and feral, you need to act up. Like, let's really do this.
But I hope it'll just spark that. I hope it'll spark it. Let me see what else. Is there anything else I need to chat about? Me just chat. I mean, even like, so Ice Spice's Sun and Mercury is squaring her Venus. So who she identifies as and her internal processing is something that just rubs Cleo's Venus the wrong way. She's like, I don't move like that. Like, this is not me. Like, Cleo was very like, even in like you can see in this just how she acts, like she is very like, yes, this is how I'm gonna be, like like, you know, even her going viral because of her like what she says, like this is honestly like such a good aspect for like comedians. Like I know people are like, why is she a rock star, why is she a musician, she needs to be a comedian. Bitch, why can't you do both, you know?
Yeah, and they have Mercury square Mercury. When my Mercury is squaring somebody, I'd be like, bitch, let me go. I don't like it. Like, it's not cool. That Mercury square
Yeah.
Mercury is gonna cause a lot of tension. And then one is in Capricorn, one is in Aries. One thinks they know everything, one is impulsive. Like,
Yeah, one is ruled by Saturn, one is ruled by Mars. Like, you know, Cleo probably like, let's get to the bottom of it. What's going on? And Cleo was just like, what is going on? And you're like, what? Like, what? And the fact that like these are the dispositors, like all this Aries is ruled by her Mars in Taurus. Um, my diva is good. My diva is good. She just gonna have like a little second to like get the groove of certain things and like understand the industry that she's in and
yeah.
the people that come with it and how she plays a part in that and to just navigate that in a sort of way. But my sister's gonna be good. My sister's gonna be good. Shout out to my black girls.
Shout out to Cleo for like really getting the eyes on you that you deserve. Unfortunately, it had to come in this way, but like I really genuinely believe she will seize this moment, and I'm very excited to see what she comes out with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let's look at. Oh no, I can't add like a thing. But yeah, she will. She'll come out of it, you know, and she good. Like after her Saturn return, I feel like after her Saturn return, that's when she's really gonna pop in like music industry. Like having to like get to like she gonna be like, bitch, I gotta grind, you know, like she gonna work. Like she has all this Aries energy, she gonna get to work. But after her Saturn return, I feel like that's when people are gonna start catching on, especially with Neptune gonna come on to all of that
Yeah.
Aries. Like there might be like some illusion, like maybe like people don't really know who she is anymore, but like her like carving out that time to like have that artist development for real
Yeah.
after her Saturn return, she gonna be like, yeah, like what was said, yeah, fuck you talking about, yo tu sabi, like I get it.
I would really like to see like a Cleo Dochi. Like I feel like Cleo and Dochi and JT,
Yo,
like that little trio right there. Oh my god! Like because Dochi is really in her lane right now. We got JT who's really focusing on like becoming more self-identified, becoming more focused on
yeah,
herself, her artistry and her artist development. And then you got Cleo coming on to that, like the girls. I would love to see that concert. I know that music
bitch,
video would be a renaissance. Like it would be so good. It would be so like the artistry behind that, the minds behind that, the
yeah.
creativity that would have. I'm very excited to see
Because
that.
honestly, even like I mean, they all her are pretty comfortable with like being flexible with their wardrobe. They're all pretty like they're all pretty alternative artists, really.
Yeah, they
Like
are.
they're okay with fitting outside the box of like what a black girl is, what a black rapper looks like, a black dark skinned rapper. What does that look like? And they all shift it in their own way. And I feel like them coming together will just like shake the earth a little bit. Like
Yes,
let's
it would
take
be
back hip
good.
hop. Like let's take back hip hop, nigga.
I think that would be, especially because they all have like some affiliation with fire energy, and Neptune's going into Aries, so it'd be really good. Like Dochi is a Leo, JT is a Sag, and then Cleo has this huge like Aries stellium. Like the power that has, the strength that has, the knowledge that has, the conviction that has. Like,
For
come
real.
on, it would
That's
be
gonna be
so good.
crazy. That's why I'm like Cleo. Cleo.
Leave
Cleo.
this
Like
fake Nigerian alone. Go be the real Nigerian over there. Like, go link up with your
like girl,
girl.
please watch this video. Like please, like put it in, send it to her algorithm. Send it to her algorithm. Like
Rocky Sha ba 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 ba. Like,
oh I was like, girl, what is that? But yeah, for real. Okay, now transitioning. I wanted to talk about my good Pisces sister. Oh, fuck. I want to talk about my good Pisces sister, Chrisean. Oh, and then also, did you see the thing that was going on with Tamar?
okay, yes. I did not keep up with Tamar and her alleged white husband, but I know she got something going on with that white man who played in her face multiple times over, and then she still apparently married him. So I don't know too much. I just know that One thing about Tamar, one thing about Tamar, she said, one thing about me, I will absolutely, without a doubt, engage in self sabotage. I will make it my business to do that. And she's done it again. She did it again, Joe.
That she's another Pisces I'm praying for. Like she gonna get
Another
out of
Pisces
it.
stellium. I'm like, bro,
She
like,
gonna
what are
get
you
out of it,
doing?
but it's just like
What's that Mars in? Is it in Aquarius or is it in Pisces? Can you scroll down a little bit?
it's an Aquarius
Yeah.
at the 28th degree.
Yeah. At that Cancer degree.
I mean, it plays out with her moon,
Yeah,
you know.
that Mars moon that out of sign Mars moon conjunction. Then she got the moon, the sun, and Mercury in its fall in Pisces. She has her Venus conjunct Chiron. It's not a super close. Well, it is pretty close actually. Conjunct Chiron in Aries with the South Node opposite her Pluto. Uh, yeah, I mean the Mars doesn't really have any like negative. I mean it's well, never mind because it's conjunct Chiron in the South Node. But
I mean,
like,
it's scoring that Jupiter.
oh no, sorry, I'm not thinking of not her Mars. I'm thinking of her Venus. My mistake.
Yeah, her Venus, it's okay. Her
But then
Venus in
it has
Aries is
like
cute.
it's conjunct to malefics. Like
Like
Tamar
love is
is
pain.
like my what I've noticed about Tamar is that Tamar is the baby out of all these, like out of all her siblings, she's the baby. And unfortunately, even though she is very much a middle-aged woman, she's very much treated like a baby. And I don't think she's ever really had like real discipline or real like consequences to her actions, because if you watch the show, her mom is like, don't talk to her like that, she's the baby. I'm like, this bitch is grown, she's 55 years old, she has two marriages under her belt, she's even got a 15-year-old son, she's not a baby. Like,
She's not a baby, but then, they treat her like that because they never gave her the proper coping mechanisms or like self-regulation for her emotions. They kind of just let her be. And then like she came from this conservative family with all these sisters, so she's always around people. There's no boundaries.
yeah.
And when it's time to like be by herself, it's almost too much to bear. So then she has to like, not she has to, but it's more comfortable to be with other people. It's more comfortable to, have someone by your side. Even like all this like Libra placements, like they're like, girl, I need somebody just here. Like you don't have to like, we don't have to be super close, but like I just want somebody here with me. And just like that adding to the cope of like the codependency because of her father cheating on her mom and having to like solely rely on the family unit, but then the family unit, kind of like little girls her and like infantiles her
Yeah.
and never gives her this appreciation for herself as a full grown, like she can do grown things and be like make grown decisions, but when there's a bunch of people that are like, okay, well, they're kind of coddling her, or she has like yes men, or she has people that won't really tell her the truth, or when they tell her the truth, she's like, oh, I'm not hearing it, because it's hard to get to her. It's hard to let things known, like let things be known to her. I really do feel bad for her. Like,
I don't know how I feel about Tamar, to be honest, because at some point it's like, again, same thing like I was saying with Nikki, like after a certain age, and I'm saying this as a woman who's like learning to accept these things about herself, like you play into your own downfall. At some point, you have to reflect that mirror, because it can't always be somebody else. It kind of reminds me of Amanda Seales, where I'm like, you cannot constantly be arguing with somebody else. At some point, you have to realize the role you play in this dysfunctional dynamic that you have with others. Like, it cannot always be, statistically, it cannot always be somebody else. You know what I mean?
it
And
can't. Like, it's hard. It's really, really hard because, I have a lot of compassion and empathy because I even think that, there was moments during the Braxton Family Values that she said that she was assaulted when she was
yeah,
younger and her mom didn't believe her. So there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of trauma. Especially I'm like, why did y'all bring the show back? Like y'all traumatize each other over and over and over and over again. You
for
keep
what?
replaying, for money, no shade.
Like, I mean, I don't have cable right now, but are they not in syndication? Have they not, like, you know what I mean? Like, Law and Order play every single day.
Well, they I think they're on like True TV or one of the streaming things that like show their show. But I mean, they just, had a new season come up of, Braxton Family Values. I think it's like under a different name or something, but they're talking about like the passing of Tracy. They're
And
having this like sit down again and like life after with the passing of Tracy. But it's just hard. Like I be praying hard for Tamar. Like I'm not even the person that's like, oh, this bitch is dumb. Like I really, and even with the whole situation with her and her husband, she even said that she knows that she has a chemical imbalance that she's taking medication for. And because this nigga is a fucking white devil, this nigga threw that in her face and was like, oh, I think you need to go back on your medication. She was just like, wow. And then when someone says that, it makes her spiral, you know?
it's the same thing that happened with, remember Michelle Williams when she was marrying that white man? And everyone was like, what? Remember, he was like, oh, babe, did you take your medication today? And she was like, excuse me. And they put that shit on TV and they immediately, swiftly, expeditiously, no longer together. Like, you guys, I want my black queens to stop linking up with these white devils with these slick back hair. They're like, not every white man is demonic. Like, we've seen that with, like, what's that lady's name? Kentaji, who was that Supreme Court justice who's mad, who her husband was like really breaking down crying about how much he loved his girl. He's like, I
Aww.
love my wife. But these niggas, these over here with these slick back side buns, no, stay away from them.
Bro,
Like,
I'm just like, this nigga, I don't trust no white man that be too much in black spaces. What are
true,
you
yes,
doing?
yes.
What are you
What
doing
are you doing
here?
over here? What do you want?
And he's like a lawyer. Nigga, go be a lawyer. Like, don't you have some motherfucking cases to solve or some motherfucking people to go sue? Don't you have a firm? Like, go manage your firm. Why are you at the strip club in Atlanta? Like, what? Like, he used Tamar.
He did. He preyed on like a vulnerable woman, and everyone knows that Tamar is vulnerable. She even knows it herself, unfortunately, and it's still just like that. I think that Pisces energy, because it's very like it's self sabotaging. It's the energy of becoming undone. It's very like illusionary. It's very easily duped if not really maintained and given stability. And he just fed into. I'm very curious to know his energy and like how it plays into her, but I don't want to give him too
This nigga
much.
is a Virgo.
Opposite all this Pisces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we should, I think, as a society, should really think twice about furthering the agenda of Virgo men. Do we really want more of them out there? Do you know who else was a Virgo man?
What, Joe Budden?
Wendy Williams' husband, Kelvin Hunter.
Mm.
And look what he did to her. And I pray on his downfall every day. I will never have compassion for him. I pray on his downfall every single day. I really, really do. I miss my girl. I hate the way that he did her. Like, he really took from her. And this man, thankfully, they didn't have 19 years of marriage, because who knows what he could, like, the damage he would have done to her, to her
Yeah.
further, honestly.
And even like the girl he with, like if that nigga will act like that with one girl, he gonna act like that with another lady. So shit. But what really popped out to me is that she has her Saturn and Leo squaring her Uranus and Scorpio. Like this could literally look like her having um like when it comes to like her responsibilities and her duties, that can be kind of shaken up with this scorpionic energy. Like, or it can even look like, because Leo rules over children, like a father who was in and out, like with all this like squaring Aquarius, it's chaotic, it's unstable, it's unpredictable. Like he could have been very, very loving, very supportive, but then very like very he's just very like very mysterious, like
Very
mysteriously there,
secretive.
mysterious, yeah, secretive.
Yeah. And that, like, kind of furthers the like, her father cheating on her mother.
Yeah. And like it really, really affected him, really affected them, because we're, when you're raised, it's like kind of like being in a cult. Like when you're raised to have this soul respect and authority for this figure, and then they they fall to their victim to their flesh, and you're just like you're questioning everything about your life is up for debate, like which what was real, all these
Yeah.
things you told me, all these values you instilled in me, you didn't even keep up with that. So who am I? Like who was the person that I was looking up to? And like she never forgave her father. I mean, even if she did, there's still like some residual wounds that
Yeah.
take place. And I think that reinstating the show, it's not healthy for her.
It's not. It never really was. Like even before Tracy died, remember when they had Ayana there, and then like Ayana was like called her a gutter snipe, and then she broke down crying, and her mom was like, "Pull it together." And I was just like, "This is like this dynamic is insane. This should not be on TV. This is like what you do behind closed doors. We shouldn't be having this. I should not know
Yeah.
about this."
It's exploitative. Like they've only known how to exploit their trauma and how to exploit each other. That's all they've known. And like
Mm-hmm.
how to be singers, with this Mars and Pisces. I mean, this Mercury and Pisces conjoined to her son. Like she's very self-identified as like the singer, as this like, like someone that can to change her ranges, like someone that is like almost like a powerhouse in her arena. Like she's a great singer. She's like one of the best singers at the group.
She's a
Um
phenomenal artist. She really and she knows it too. And because they're like similar to the Jacksons, where their family is based in musicality, and she knows that she's one of the better ones. I think that also furthers her ability to like get away with a lot of bullshit.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Let me see. But this Jupiter squaring Mars is it's squaring her moon, which is interesting.
I have Jupiter square my moon, and that can help without like with the moon not becoming, because when you have Jupiter touching aspecting something, it blows it up, right? So she has that moon in Pisces and that Jupiter in Taurus. That could create stability, but then it's squaring it, and then that like it can make her act. I think that also plays a part in her acting so erratic as well.
But then let's see what degree that this full moon in Pisces is going to be, because it's going to be on her sun.
It's gonna be on
Let
her
me see.
sun.
Let me see.
Because I think the full moon is going to be at 24, 25 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. Because Neptune is going to be at 29, and I think Saturn's going to be at 20, and it's somewhere right in the middle.
Well, I mean, this news came around like while we're in the cycle of like getting closer to that. Okay, it's going to be at 26 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, oh my God, it's going to be directly on her sun, on her Mercury.
Well, this is thankfully it's a partial lunar eclipse, so it's not going to be the full effect of the lunar eclipse. So it's going to be a preview of what's to come for the next lunar nodal cycle and the next eclipse season that's coming, because we're exiting out of this like cardinal energy into this mutable energy from Aries and Libra to Virgo and Pisces. So we're kind of coming to a close in like a a greater karmic cycle. So she's gonna get a taste of whatever's supposed to come next. She's getting a taste of it. We probably won't really know. She definitely will, but I think knowing the like how Tamar loves attention and she loves, public fodder, it will be brought to us. She will give it to us.
Well, I really hope that, I mean, even the fact that her and Chrisean, they both linked up, they both have like this understanding of each other. I feel like this will be a moment for them to fully highlight what they need to work on for themselves. Like with this North Node in Pisces,
Yeah.
like I feel like that'll definitely give them a lot of support to like really work through the shit that they're going through, which is a great transition because I want to look at my girl Chrisean, because she recently just got released on bail from jail. She was in jail for about a couple of months. I'm not exactly sure the exact time. But let's look at hers, child. Let's look at hers. And then I'm gonna like adjust the dates so we can look to see what that full moon lunar eclipse will look like for her.
So she's on the inner circle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so she has Sun, Venus, and Mercury. So she also has a Sun and Mercury in Pisces, just like Tamar. She has a Jupiter. Is this Tamar? She has a Jupiter in Taurus like Tamar.
Well, Well, I mean, there's a reason why they both like found comfort and solace within each other. You know, like they're like, bitch, you like me.
Both come from big families. They both come from unstable backgrounds. You know,
They're both
respectively.
Pisces.
They're both Pisces with Pisces stelliums.
And the fact that like they're both like, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is like the philosopher. It's um you know our belief system, it's religion, and they're both very very religious people. So the fact that they can come together and they're like, I have this love and adoration for God, like they want to do music, like that's Piscean, like they're both in the entertainment field, like this illusionist field. They're
yeah,
both there like finding themselves in the solace of like, girl, you too. And you're like, yeah girl, like you be like that.
and also Pisces is exalted. It's the exaltation of Venus, right? So it's really like, it's furthers the like boundlessness of the energy, and like that easily, you fall in love and you're falling for the illusion of this person, because can't no one tell me that if you see Blueface coming, you would not cross the street. There is no way. If you see that white man with that slick back hair that Tamara married, there's no way you'd be like, what the fuck is this? And cross the street. You would cross the street. You would pull out your garlic, you would put it up, and you would cross the street. But for whatever reason, these
Well,
women, they can like look past the clear red flags and see magenta ones and be like, that's love. You know
Well,
what
it's
I
all
mean?
about, it's all about an idea. It's a like you said, a fantasy. It's the
Yeah.
projection. A lot
Yes.
of the times with Pisces placements and Pisces placements, Virgo placements, they see the flaws and they're like, for Pisces, it's like the empathetic healing energy of like,
Yes.
I
The
can
Christ
heal
like
you.
love.
But then Virgo is like, I can fix you, of like being of service.
Yeah.
So when they see these people, they don't see their flaws as things to be acknowledged and to be like avoided. They see it as a place of like something to that is like an
Potential.
opportunity.
They see the potential in
Yeah.
it. Like, I can heal you through my love. I can fix you. Virgo loves a project. So they're like, I see potential. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of women's issues, that you see the potential in a man versus just seeing the man himself. I'm like, this nigga sucks. He's a garbage can. Like, he literally is a fucking radish. You need to throw that man outside. Like, leave him alone. But we learn things as we are meant to learn them. And, these are just lessons for these women.
Yeah. It's one of those things. And I think that especially because they have a lot of Piscean energy. It's conjoined to their Mercury. So like their ego is attached to their mind. So it's hard to differentiate sometimes when it comes to, okay, this is like they can rationalize their like how this affects them. They could be like, oh wait, no, this is good. Like this is okay. Like I can, like they have a way to like justify these interactions that they have with people, to be like, to fit their own diluted perception or their own
Yeah.
diluted idea. So it's really great for like someone that wants to be in the industry, right? Like be in this like creative field, to be like, no, this is gonna work for me. Like, no, I'm famous. Like, no, I'm rich. But then like when it comes to other people, we can't control people. So you're like, oh no, me and this nigga, we good. No, he just doing his thing, like, ugh, whatever. But then he does something else. You're like, you're fucking with this idea I have of you. Stop it.
Yeah, you're not playing the part that I've cast you in. Please get in line, fall back into character so I can be deluded again. But it's like, at some point things start crashing down, and you have to just, Saturn's in Pisces, you just have to accept the reality of the situation. You have to come down from the cloud. And I hate being off that cloud. I'm gonna tell you this now, but you have to come down from it. Like,
Yeah. I
unfortunately.
mean, it sucks. Like, it really sucks. And the fact that like um Saturn was like close to her sun, like that's literally like restricting her energy, restricting her vitality. Like she was in jail. Like literally like Saturn can be like almost feel like a confinement. She was literally in solitary confinement. Like that's crazy. Let's see. Let's look at the date of the lunar eclipse.
It's the 17th of September, so in approximately 11 days.
Let's do 3 p.m. All right.
Let's go
So
right
it's
on,
gonna be
son. Another one.
wait a second. So her Mars and her Mars and Aries is gonna be squaring or opposite Venus in a Libra.
But it will be conjunct the retrograde Chiron.
Yes.
So hard lessons, babe. Now let's see what else. We have yeah, so like we said, we have Saturn retrograde. Saturn's still retrograde? I guess.
Yeah.
And then we have right in the middle we have the moon, and then we have Neptune at that analytic degree, which is also retrograde.
Yeah, and then her sun is going to be opposing the Virgo sun, so there's a lot of like illumination of like who you are now, like have you learned your lesson? Who are you after this time? Like what have you learned? Like picking pieces together and like find the details of her personality.
Yeah.
Um
Are
and
we
as it
using our
relates,
discernment? Like, are we honestly taking care of ourselves? She has put so much into this man who don't give a fuck about her, and thankfully that nigga is gonna be locked up. Hopefully he will stay in that jail. He don't like we. He's such a villain. We don't need him outside. You know, like how in Harry Potter, they had they had like Aragon in the forest, that giant spider in the forest. That's where he needs to stay. Like,
but wasn't that nigga kind of nice? Like remember when he let them go? He was like, I'm gonna fuck with y'all niggas later, but next time I catch y'all in my hood, it's
no,
up.
sorry, girl. He was like, me and Hagrid was kicking it. That was my homeboy, but my children are hungry, and he sicked them on them kids. That's
Girl, he had like 30 million kids. Like he was just one man. He could only do so much. Oh my god, did I show you? There's this thing that's coming to my city. It's like
what?
it's like a little drive-in thing. Wait, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you.
Are you gonna text it to me?
No, I'm gonna show you like via live. Like, hold
Okay.
on. But oh, she has a Cancer moon, so Mars is gonna be on her Cancer moon, like the doll.
That's gonna bring a lot of like. That's gonna. She's gonna bring a lot of. She needs to bring some real focus on her emotions and really developing her emotions. But I also gonna make her really hot headed because that Cancer moon, that Cancer Mars is gonna be squaring that node. It's gonna be squaring the Chiron. Like it's gonna be squaring her Mars. She's someone. She doesn't really have a lot of. She has Jupiter and Saturn in Taurus. She doesn't have a lot of Earth. She's a lot of like water. She's a bit of fire. She's a bit of air. Like she doesn't have a lot of Earth. So she cannot like the Earth in her is generational planets, and those other planets are how they affect you over time. It's not on a day-to-day type of basis. So she really struggles in creating stability for herself. Like she needs someone that's gonna bring honestly, truthfully, she really needs someone who's gonna bring that stability to her or teach her to like get to how to have those lessons.
Well, what's interesting, and it's so crazy because this Mars on her moon, like I feel like this she'll be like, bitch, I'm a mother, like I gotta take care of my son. And then baby Chrisean Jr., he's a Virgo sun. So the sun is
Is
gonna
he?
be, yeah,
He's supposed to be 1 year old.
I think so.
Oh,
No, he's yeah, in a
yeah.
couple months. In a
Oh
couple months. I
wow.
think he's like 7 months or something.
No, girl, it's Virgo season right now. He's gonna be 1 year old.
Wait, are you like right, don't do too much. It's the Bronx public school system. Like, leave me alone.
I'm sorry, I didn't clock you, but like, what?
Like, hold on, not too much. But like oh my gosh. But yes, he's a Virgo sun. So Sun and Mercury is going to be on his sun. So there's going to be a lot of like focus in that area, like focusing on him, focusing on how she can bring her light into his life and bring her vitality into his life.
Yes.
Um
I think that now that I'm realizing thinking about it, that like Saturn, Moon, Neptune conjunction is gonna maybe hopefully illuminate how she needs to take some of that unconditional love she has for Blueface and put it into her special needs son, because he's gonna need that. He's gonna like he has some developmental issues that he's not gonna develop like a normal little boy, which is fine. But like he needs a mother that is gonna give him compassion, that's gonna give him grace, that's gonna give him empathy, who's really gonna be like, I love my son no matter what. That is my primary focus. And I think
but
that is especially because look, she got the Mars on her moon. Like there's a lot of like nurturing motherhood energy that's being illuminated for her. And also like practical care, genuine care, right? Like not just like the spiritual care, but like Virgo has to deal with health. It has to deal with medicine. It has to deal with day-to-day routine. Like your son needs these things to be well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think
But
that's really what's going to come up for her.
I think it's something that we should watch out for because the lunar eclipse is going to be on her sun, opposing all of that Virgo. So, something about, this Virgo theme. I don't know if like maybe we'll get more information about his health. We'll get more information um about the home life because it's like the moon
Yeah,
as it
it's something to
pertains
do with
to
the home
him.
life. But again, this is just a preview for what's going to happen for the because the nodal shift, from what I've heard, the North Node is going to be in Pisces for like 2.5 years. Normally, it's like 18 months. So it's going
Mm-hmm.
to be a longer nodal transition, I guess, with the like final clearing of everything. So it's something that's going to affect her over the next, few years that she's going to have to really step up to task, really.
Yeah. But like the Saturn in Pisces retrograde is squaring her Pluto. So,
What's her
finding the balance between like establishing power and authority and like taking those responsibilities and like setting boundaries is gonna
Yeah.
be a theme. Um, but then even like this Mars in Aries is gonna be opposite Venus and Libra. So I think the way that she's acted and her actions, like her selfish actions with this,
Mhm.
Chiron, how it affected other relationships. So I think that's gonna be a time for her like mending these relationships, like mending it with her mom, mending it with her family, with Blueface's family. um just all for the child and all for like re-examining the mistakes that she's taken, and the actions she's done when she was in a very self-centered mode.
I wish her well. I see her as like a young woman with so much potential who got caught up in a man who just was not good for her and really just siphoned so much of her. And she was very vulnerable because she grew up. I did some research on like her home life, and her dad was a drug addict. No, her dad was in jail most of her life. Her mom was a drug addict. She has a bunch of siblings. Like as Alexa said, that the East Coast is where the polar bears were
Man,
boxing each other. Like
East Coast is where the
it's
niggas get
rough over here.
creased. The niggas
It's
get
rough over
like, you
here.
see my city, like I know you
Girl,
see
shut
it. It
up.
gets it's gritty, like it's really really gritty. Like every man for themselves, and when you're in that like that survival mode, it makes you turn into a different beast. Like we see Tasiki. Don't beat me up, mama, please,
That
please.
no
I like my
shade.
teeth,
She is scary.
please.
She needs to register them hands. She really
Yeah,
do.
I
She
mean,
bust that girl. I have never seen a tongue busted open in my life. Like I genuinely was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
I never seen no shit like that ever. And I'm like, because the girl Diamond the Body, those were veneers. She knocked out her veneer.
oh,
You
bro,
know
who
how
is doing
strong of
about
a punch
veneers?
you know how strong you gotta punch me to knock out a porcelain veneer?
I mean, if she went to a veneer tech, probably not that hard to be quite
What?
honest. Like no shade, but still, like, whew. Girl, she knocked out the veneers, she busted the lip, and she ripped the tongue. How you do that? Like, how do
I
you
don't
do
know.
that?
Honestly, I feel like if that fight video was on the internet, it would shake like it would shake the earth. Like, because it would replace the Sharkeisha video. Like it would honestly be the video of the generation.
Bro, it would like Joe Biden would have to address it. Like, it would be that serious.
Oh my god.
He would be like, my fellow Americans, leave this bitch alone. Like, oh my God. Like,
Oh my god, but like imagine like all of that energy you had from like being like quote like honestly like a single mom, like you're raising these kids, you're raising your younger sister, trying to take it
mhm.
to practice, like you got all this aggression, you got all this anger trapped in you from being angry at your parents, being angry at the world, like you like
Yeah,
bitch, anybody gonna get this, like you, that's like a different level of stamina like you have to have. And
I would not engage. I would cross the street. I'm sorry. I'm crossing the street, bitch. I'm moving out the town. I don't want to engage. I'm not even gonna say her name a third time in case she showed up right behind me. I'm leaving that alone. Like, I'm good.
ciao. So Queenie, what you want to chat about next? Blah, 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 blah.
So to round off the sorry.
Sorry, no, it was something I seen. Sorry.
I am a little bit sick because of the weather changing. It's getting a little cold up north.
If you
But
don't make yourself a blood clot
okay, no,
ginger
here's the
tea.
thing is that I got a little bit of cold and mucus in here, but then like I'm eating mac and cheese, I'm drinking coffee, I'm drinking tea that got milk in it. I be taking my black seed oil and I be taking my Robitussin. So I'm doing what I can, but it's also like a sore throat, like it's just like swollen. So and I had a procedure today on my shoulder that I literally had to cancel. I was like, bitch, I'm
Girl, you
sick.
didn't tell me about it.
I didn't go. I had to call them and be like, girl, I'm sick. She was like, ew, you're not coming over. So my procedure, and I also know shade, I don't want a procedure on the Scorpio moon. So I'm gonna do it in 2 weeks when the moon is in Taurus on my Venus. A smooth
Bye.
transition. So it is what it is. But so we are in the midst of Pluto and Aquarius retrograde. This is not, I have no Aquarius in my chart. It's one of those few signs that I don't really have any Aquarius. So I'm very curious about like how we're gonna end this karmic cycle. I want Pluto out of my second house so bad. I want that bitch gone. She is I mean, she really has taught me a lot, but I'm like, girl, you could go. Like, I'm not gonna miss you. But we got Pluto entering into Aquarius, and then we have Neptune entering into Aries. And as the resident Aquarius stellium, I want to hear some of your like predictions and hopes and opportunities that you see us like as a society coming into, because I'm trying to channel it myself, and I actually had an Aquarian like thought like think will take me very far if I harness it well, because it's going to flow well with all my air and all my fire. Mm-hmm. But I'm very curious to hear like what you think that we can like as a society use this to progress us forward.
Well,
Nothing desperate inside.
Well, you know, because we're like literally in the tail end. Like we're never gonna have Pluto and Capricorn in our lifetime again. So
bye, girl. Sorry, bye.
That's like it's kind of crazy. You know, like when you have somebody like your mom's like friend that's like a play cousin be staying at your house and like they be kind of like tearing up the place a little bit. You're like, oh fuck that nigga, like get out of here. But then when he leave, you're just like,
well, okay, but Pluto in Capricorn, it brought us the like, you know, the stock market went down. It brought us all that recession music. It brought us all the influencers, right? Like Capricorn is very much like on the top of the charts. It's the big boss. It's like, it is capitalism. And so now we like on the tail end of it, and we're distrusting like large entities, large governments, like corporations. We're trying to like take some power back. People are like we were talking about earlier, like the influencers are like, girl, I don't want to be an influencer no more. I just want to be a creative. Like, yeah, I have, you know, put my art into this medium, and now I'm just kind of like exchanging dollars, and I don't want to be a part of the system anymore. Right? We're taking our power back. I don't miss her. No shade. I'm grateful for the lessons I have learned about financial stability, about self-worth, about being resourceful. But I promise you, I'm not gonna miss that bitch when she leaves. I don't want to see her.
I mean, you know, when Pluto, because Pluto represents like the taboos of the human psyche. So it represents like all the things that we want to we want to avoid, like our wording. We want to get away from
our wording.
Yeah, you know, like our wording, our, you know,
what?
Grape, you know. So like thinking about that, like thinking about like obsession, like this obsession and this obsession with status, this obsession with money, this obsession with climbing the corporate ladder, and like the pitfalls of human behavior when you have the dark side of the human psyche, like literally like pushing people down so that you can get on top. Maintaining, you know, all of these psycho acts in the corporate world to like have this like false sense of security at work, and have like the darker sides of capitalism. Like, yes, it's like it's about productivity and we want to work hard, we want nicer things, we want to be able to provide for our families, but in what measure do we go about doing those things? Like, in what way? If in seeing like the fall of all of these celebrities and people of esteem and status, it's like they had a track record of continuously sabotaging people, continuously manipulating people, continuously getting rid of people. Like, let's be honest. And now it's coming to the tail end of like, you're reaping your benefits. You're like Pluto is like exposing the things that you've done. So
Yeah.
now, I mean, I feel like with Pluto and Aquarius, we're realizing that people want more community. They want third spaces. They want the interaction with people in real life. They want more friends, like all these like run clubs that have been sprouting up, and like Bumble BFF, like all these things of like trying to get back to the average person and to connect. I feel like the darker side of that is like, being susceptible to like groupthink.
Yes, yes, I think that's going to be a big the hive mind.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of already like in it. We've been like that for a while with social media, but that hive mind potential is going to be even more prominent than ever before.
Yeah. I mean, it like Pluto and Aquarius is going to expose a lot of humanity and what people truly want, which is connection. Like when people are like, oh, I wish I could have $1 million. Really, what you want is comfort. Really, what you want is stability. So highlighting those things are people really, really wanting, and people going after it and like forming these communities. But it's also exposing the darker side of groups and organizations. And what is the biggest group? What is the biggest organization? The government.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see a lot with that. I think we'll just see a lot of exposures with just organizations in general. I mean, I feel like we're seeing that trickle down with like the entertainment industry. I feel like we'll have more exposures of like the executives, people at the top, like these unknown hidden figures. We're gonna see more of them. Um, but then it'll bring about change. It'll bring about transformation in society. I think a society as a whole will see more diplomatic approaches or more socially charged approaches done by the people for the people, like not really relying on the government for assistance. Like we can rely on them, but knowing like, hey, they're really for themselves. We have to take the initiative to like make our own projects, to fund our own things, to work with one another, to help the
Yeah.
underdog out. And instead of like trying to push each other down to climb up, but to like congregate at the bottom and then work our way up to expand, instead of like doing this upward mobility to but do this outward mobility of expansion with the community. So I think we'll see that. How about you?
I agree. I think I see a lot of that happening already. Like recently, so in my community, I live in a low income community. And so we don't have a lot of access to third spaces already, besides like the beach and the park. And even there, you have like your restrictions because those are outdoor spaces. And I live in New York. Like I actually live in New York. So it's
Oh,
cold out
sorry.
here a lot of the time. And what happened recently is that our library just opened and it's been like this big hub for like community engagement. We can go there, we can learn things. Like I'm really seeing the like benefits of like having a safe space where people can go and it's free, like a genuinely free space. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's been really, really exciting. But Pluto and Aquarius is going to be going through my third house of local communities, which is part of like the library, but also my siblings and a lot of people in my family have a lot of Aquarius. So I'm very interested in see how our dynamic is going to grow or change or progress or whatever. But it's also in like elementary schools, and it's also in local travel, and it's also in communication because
Mm-hmm.
it's the Gemini house. And I want to go back to graduate school to like be a teacher, and I'm very interested in seeing how we can incorporate new technologies into like promoting education and equity in education.
Yeah.
Because one thing I've noticed since COVID happened is that like it happened so fast. There's a lot of teachers that like they just like it was almost like whiplash. They really haven't really fully adjusted. Even like I don't want to say we're like 3 years post COVID, but we kind of are since its initial integration into our society. And just like how we're post 9/11, we're never going back to how we were previously to 9/11. We're never going back to how we were before COVID. So now we have this like space where we have all these tools like AI. Like when Pluto dipped into Aquarius this year, you remember how they were always talking about AI, and it's almost like there's this intentional like fear mongering behind it. Like if a common man can't use it, then it can be manipulated against them. But if you can use it, then you can use it to promote whatever you need to do for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can we take these new tools to promote them with these young people? Because I'm seeing teachers who truly genuinely resent the fact that they have to do like e-learning. That's not what they signed up for.
Yeah.
And so there's so much resistance toward it, but we're not like, we cannot go back. We're not going back. So
Yeah.
how can we take this to move forward? How can we like promote like professional development with technology? How can we promote equity with our students? How can
Yeah.
we like customize this unique educational experience to all these different types of kids? Because like I'm thinking initially, I was like, oh well, this would be good to just like teach kids productivity, but then we have like students who are blind, students who are deaf, students who are colorblind, students who have autism,
Hmm.
students have who don't speak the language. There's so many different types of students that we now have the opportunity to like really customize an educational system towards to really like to promote greatness within them, to really
Yeah.
set them up for success in a way we've never been able to before. I'm so
Hmm.
excited to see it happen. I'm so excited to be a part of it. It really like sparks joy in me because I grew up not having any resources. Because I went to private school, but again, low income community, like private school. There's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of resources. And when there were resources, it was very like inequitable. Like I was not deemed one who was like worth the investment in these educational tools. So now that it's out there, everyone for the most part kind of has access to them. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But like I'm a Sag, so I'm very optimistic. I'm like, girl, like bring the joy, bring the play, bring the AI, let the kids learn how to code. And we can't really, Aquarius is very sporadic. We don't really know what's gonna come from it, right? Like we have this like idea of what could happen, but we don't really know what's gonna happen. So I'm just hoping to like just kind of ride this wave as it comes. Cause again, it's gonna flow well with all my Gemini, my Libra, my Sag, my Leo. Like I feel very good about it, but
Hmm.
I don't know Aquarius the way y'all do. I'm not from the spaceship like y'all are. So I'm just like
Get into it, mommy. Get
I'm seeing
into
it from a
it.
very, optimistic point of view. But I am wary about where technology is going to go because we have these deep fakes that they're so real now. Like you can't even tell
Yeah.
what's not real anymore and how they're used against us. And like where do they come from and how do you regulate that? Like there's a lot of like,
Yeah.
regulatory issues that I'm concerned about, but overall I'm
Well,
very
I think
excited.
that can like spark, so that could be something like if you could even, I don't know, like your level of like advocacy, but even like you could like honestly sponsor bills about
Yeah.
education as it pertains to this incoming influx of technological advancements because it's new. Like we're literally transitioning into a new era when we had the year 2000, like all we thought that we're gonna
Yeah,
have
it
all these
feels like happening
things.
all over again. And you know what's crazy? I did research. The internet was born in 1993. Me and the internet are the same age. Like we're having our Saturn return together. We're coming of age into adulthood together. There's a new level of like consciousness that we're coming into together.
Hmm.
Like we're really at the precipice of like a technological revolution, and we really like it frustrates me a little bit. Now I know how Aquarius feels. It frustrates me a little bit to see people so resistant to change and like forward momentum and like not being able to see further ahead. But at some point, the girl's gonna get onto it. Like we gotta do it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly kind of like reminiscent of like, the crypto
Yeah,
days, like with Bitcoin. There were so many people. Like I even think like my brother was one of the people who they got approached with the idea like, bitch, if you like invest in this shit, and a lot of people were like, no, no, this is gonna be do. But then some people they had a crazy return on investment, and they
yeah,
they have like $30,000 of crypto or even more. So I think it's important to like know what's coming, and like people are like, well, AI is gonna take all the jobs. Well, something is gonna happen. Like we're gonna have to work something else. We're gonna have to figure out another way to make money. Who even knows if this idea of money that we have is going to be the same way, like where everyone's trying to have like the centralized decentralized usage of money, like this digital money, like certain forms of money will no longer be be the same. And even
yeah.
now, like what is it going to look like, because it's a societal thing. So even like maybe bringing like the implementation of like social scores or social ranking, that might be a thing where it's like not really about how much money do you have, but how much do you have in your social scores that will allow you to interact with other people, that
That's
will
very
allow
Black
you.
Mirror. There's a whole episode of Black Mirror about that.
Well, like Black Mirror is literally just like Pluto and Aquarius, like
It really
all
is.
the shit that we're gonna see. it's like there's a reason why things are brought to us through media in like a fictional sense, like, oh, this isn't real, he ha ha ha. Like, nah, girl, you gotta take that shit to be like, all right, like I gotta move a certain way, because you never know how our how it technology, or having these people having all this power, are going to shift the way that we see and how we interact with technology. Like, I had to block that nigga Elon Musk, because I'm like, you're annoying.
Bro, he's a
You're
cyborg. He's not even a real person. No one can convince me that is a real man of flesh and blood. I don't believe it. I don't care. He
but
literally is a cyborg.
you see, like, Pluto is about, like, it's the deeper, darker emotions of human activity, of human emotions, like obsession, power, control. Like, literally him, like, Pluto in Aquarius is like him trying to control the internet, with like trying to make people pay for Twitter and shit. Like, who the fuck want to pay for Twitter? Twitter Plus?
Literally, to see people have like they like really type their thoughts out and click publish, and that nigga kicked me off my Twitter. I will never forgive him for. I to this day that was one of my saving graces. But whatever, I am now transitioned into a wholesome woman who uses Pinterest, so I'm safe.
But even,
But
like, the fact
still,
that he changed the fucking name to X, like, girl, why are you trying to control things? Like, these niggas with control issues are trying to control these spaces that we navigate on. We connect with each other, and it's defeating the whole purpose of having social media, of like trying to connect. Like, now you're trying to add ads and try to add like a shopping module. Like, it's just all these things. It's like, girl, I feel like even with Pluto and Aquarius, we're gonna see like the next rise of like the next social media app. So
yeah, I agree. I think we're kind of been in like a lull. I think Pluto and Capricorn has played a huge part in like the lull in social media, because it's all about like fronting and presentation and like, showing that you have money. And it really turned a lot of people off, because when you don't have an experience to broadcast that's like super exciting, what do you have to show?
yeah, and like there's some people that like make money off of the internet. So when you take away their ability, it puts a lot of people at a disadvantage, which now brings up the idea of like decentralized money, or like these token monies and all these things. It's just a lot. It's just a fucking lot. Like, no shade, no shade, no shade. I don't know if this is an accurate. This is just what I
Um,
pulled up on AstroSeek. But let's see. I mean, MC and Taurus
isn't no, I think it's in Aries.
in Aries. Okay. Damn, that makes so much sense. Wait, hold on. Yeah, MC and Aries. Damn, this nigga got Chiron in the MC in the ninth house. Like, that nigga, he always feels like intellectually inferior, and he always like tries to prove himself. Girl,
And then we have his ascendant squaring his Chiron, like how he shows up. Again, like squaring that Mercury, that like
Mercury in his ascendant.
squaring that Chiron, his ninth house. Like, yes, very much intellectually inferior.
But like it's so crazy because he has it in his ninth house, but like he shows up as someone that like like Mercury on the rising, that's like a very like, well, actually, like, he
Yeah.
always like comes in like that Virgo, that mercurial rising of like always wanted to speak about things, always wanted to have the last word, always wanted to put his input, and it's just like, girl, no one fucking asked you.
And then that Mercury is in Cancer, and it's very like it's emotionally driven. Like, it is, your emotions and your mind are so intertwined. It's very hard to not be like, to not move through emotion to make logical decisions, because you're just, and it's ruled by the moon too, so it fluctuates very, very easily. And then that moon is what, in Virgo? He's annoying. Like, sorry, this nigga is annoying.
But then he has a son in the 12th house. Like, nigga, you're supposed to be heard, not seen.
I'm gonna
Like,
put
what
his
the
son in
fuck?
his first house, and that's gonna make him big and round and then emotional and annoying. Like, regardless.
Oh my god, he has a Leo South node. Like, girl, you're supposed to be behind the scenes.
He
Why are
is
you trying to
supposed
be seen?
North Node conjunct his Mars too.
That Aquarius shit.
And then it's like trining his Venus in Gemini, and his Saturn is not conjunct to his Venus, but it's still up there, right? Like, him having an influence in social media is like, it makes sense, but then like he's going about it in the most perverse ways. He's mad
In like a
perverse.
controlling way.
Yeah. And it's in the eighth house. Like, let's read that. Like, I'm gonna read that North Node in that Mars in that eighth house, right? It's power, it's control, it's going really, really deep. Like
Oh
it's
my
shared
god.
resources.
Other people's resources, like having this control, like, bitch, you have to pay this money to use my service. Like, what?
To connect with other people. Like it's manipulative. That full moon is gonna be going through his ninth house, his like eighth, ninth house. It's in the later degrees of Pisces, so it really will be in his ninth house. So we're gonna see some things about him, um, in how he showcases how he broadcasts himself to the world. It's gonna We're not gonna see it obviously right now, but over the next few years, it will be a huge thing.
Well, I mean, it's kind of trickling out because I know that his son like outed him because his son is like transgender.
Oh, as what, a cyborg?
No, it's just like
What
a
would they
different
out him as?
gender.
No,
Because
not the
like,
son, Elon Musk. What would they out him as?
hold on,
A
I'm gonna
fucking
find it.
loser? We knew that.
No, but the son was saying like, oh, this nigga's always be high off ketamine. Like he be going on these ketamine rants. Like he's unstable. And it's so funny because the guy that I work with, he said that he like went to a party and they had like the same circles that they run with, and he's like, I met him. And he was just drinking. He was weird.
He's weird. He's a weird guy. He's a fucking loser.
Ah, I was like, fuck. Transgender.
And then we're gonna have Neptune going through his, what is that, his ninth house, his tenth house on his MC essentially, but it's gonna take a long time to go over it. So the disillusionment is gonna really like play a huge part in him because he has a huge karmic debt to pay. Honestly, you never win when you play dirty.
Elon Musk's transgender daughter, in first interview, said he berated her for being queer as a child.
You fucking loser.
Vivian Jenna Wilson, the transgender daughter of Elon Musk, said Thursday in her first interview that he was an absent father who was cruel to her as a child for being queer and feminine. Wilson, 20, in an exclusive interview with NBC News, responded to comments Musk made on Monday about her and her transgender identity. Musk said that she is not a girl and was figuratively dead. He alleged that he had been tricked into authorizing trans related medical treatment for her when she was 16. She said he was cold. She said he is very quick to anger. He is uncaring and narcissistic. I was in the fourth grade. We went on this road trip. I didn't know actually it was just an advertisement for one of the cars. I don't remember which one. And he was constantly yelling at me viciously because my voice was too high. She said it was, quote, cruel. And then I want to pull up his thing. Oh, are you reading?
No, I hate him. I'm just talking about how I fucking hate him. He fucking sucks. Like,
he is like such an inferior, nasty nepotism baby that is benefiting off of stealing from African people. And he's using his impotence to show up for his lack of competency and this wound around masculinity, and he takes it out on other people, like on more on I mean, if it's in Pisces, like vulnerable populations.
then how interesting that like his transgender daughter was being berated for like being too feminine, not being masculine enough by him. Like,
I want to see
what?
He got his Virgo, I mean his moon in Virgo squaring the Gemini Saturn. Like that could really look like him, you know, having like emotional regulation issues.
Very mercurial.
Chiron opposite Uranus, like like getting triggered just randomly and then making like triggering, like getting triggered
And it's
because
fucking with your relationships. Like,
yeah, instability from childhood in the third house that's showing up in how like your beliefs about yourself. Saturn opposite Jupiter. Ciao. This nigga gotta go.
electric chair.
But do you have any closing remarks, bestie?
Um, Overall, I love being a diva with you. We've had some great conversation and discussion, and I'm very, much ready for. I think we're still in the shadow period for retrograde, honestly, and I'm ready for this shit to be done. I'm ready for this full moon to come and go. I'm ready for this year to be over. Like, I'm tired. I'm over it. I'm just excited for, like, we're in the last quarter of the year, and I'm just like, oh, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Not to quote Lanithia, but quite literally the ghetto. Oh my god.
Well, I'm
This has
glad
been
we're still
so
here.
fun.
I'm glad we're still here
Amen.
getting through this together.
My culture is not a costume. Okay? I can't stand you. You're so annoying.
What you talking about? Like, oh my God. Like, I just gotta go and like get my new butters. And I just gotta go to the deli really quick. Like,
I
you
want you
know.
arrested. I need
Like,
you
you know
arrested.
how it is. I just gotta go up the block really quick. Like, how I sound? How I'm annoying? How?
Cleo is gonna come and whoop your ass. Okay, Diva, any closing remarks that you want to say to the dolls before we sign off for the night?
I love y'all. God keep y'all. God love y'all. Thank y'all again for staying tuned and rocking with us. And no shade, I'm about to hit 100 subscribers.
Woo!
So it's just been a crazy journey. I'm praying for 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
But, I appreciate y'all. It's been really, really fun. Thank y'all so much for supporting me. If you want your own interpretation, your own personal birth chart reading or synastry, let me know. Make sure you email me at goldenflamehealing@gmail.com. And just like, thank y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all weekend. Let me know what you're going to do moving forward and how you feel about this eclipse. Like, you don't got to be scared of nothing, but how you feeling? Where is Pisces in your chart? Where is the Pisces Virgo axis, and what is that looking like? And it'll just know that it'll be good. Just know it'll be good, even in the moments when you feel like you're uncertain. Just remember to surrender and to ride the ride.
Amen. Come on, child of God.
Yeah.
Come
But
on,
yeah, y'all,
sister.
that's me. That's me, Lex. I mean Dovey. But yes, y'all, thank y'all so much. And thank you so much, Zahra. I'm about to call you so we can go watch the show. Ah! Okay, bye,
Okay, ciao,
y'all. Have a
ciao.
good one.